Hi, I'm Jana Barnes, and this is phase one of my project management of our family finances. The problem we had was we always fought when we did finances. We've tossed the finances back and forth for 20 years of our marriage, and we both want to come together. We want to be unified. In the past, we've had problems with accusations and with tone of voice, just blaming each other for problems and things like that. And we want to get our family finances unified. So we decided that our project goal was to lay all of our finances out together, unified, to set action goals together, and to set regular meetings where we can talk about this together. And so here's what we did. We got together and we did a Delphi project here where we decided that we were going to put down everything we had and just kind of brainstorm together and put things into categories. Eventually, we wanted to put this into a good Google Doc document, which we did. We still need to work on that and make it a little bit better, but we have all of the expenses laid out. This was just initial, so we came up with way more things we needed to do. We also, down at the bottom here, you can see we had milestones that we decided what we were going to do. We only had 4 to 6 weeks to work on this. And so we had planning sessions. We wanted to define our objectives. I don't know if you can see under here. I can't move myself. But then we had also where we are. And then at the end, we wanted to plan a budget and have it kind of put together in a better way where we were together on what needed to be paid. Okay, let's go to the next screen here. We had goals and objectives. This took us a couple weeks, and we want to continue to modify this and change it. So our objectives were to get out of debt and live within our means, support a healthy lifestyle. It's not all about not spending any money. It's also about let's live healthily, if that's a word. And then save for our future, pay for our children's education, and help family and friends when they come across hard times, do fun things together, prepare a will, and my husband wants to buy a Jaguar that he thinks will prove everything if he can buy a Jaguar. So that's his, and he says I say that wrong, Jaguar. So we decided what our roles were. My husband is the main breadwinner. He owns his own law firm, so he manages the work finances and the budget at work. Now that's part of his role. He's also a parent, spouse, and equal partner. We needed to make that very clear in our roles. We are equal partners in this. Not one person is above the other or vice versa. So I'm the home manager mostly. I am a breadwinner for the fun stuff, or for getting out of debt or the extra things that we want to do. I manage with him. We manage the home finances and budget with him, and I'm also a parent, spouse, and equal partner. And those are all really important roles that we play as we do this. Going through this project management, determining our roles was vital. We also have learned things from trying to do the budget together for 20 years or separate or throwing it back and forth. And so we looked at some of the risks we've had and we mitigated the risk and seeing what we can do to make it better. Most of our risks had to do with emotions. And so we wanted, my husband said, let's not talk about emotions at all. Let's just, no emotions are allowed in our budget meetings. I didn't agree on that. I think we need to recognize our emotions. So we did do that, and we discussed, like we had differences in goals, we discussed those differences. I thought that was important before moving on, and he agreed. We finally agreed that, yeah, it's okay to talk about it. Let's not become accusatory or blame, though. And so we came together on that. We were unified, yay. We had, the finance meetings, we had interruptions all the time. We have 4 kids, and we always had people interrupting. And we decided that when we were going to have our meetings, because that was an important part of this, there'd be no interruptions. So that included things like no cell phones or anything like that. Oh, that's my next slide, actually. I'll show you that in a second. We had unexpected expenses and surpluses. Owning your own business, you have months that are good and months that are bad. And so we had both. We also had just recently a government shutdown, and that affects his business. He works as a Social Security lawyer. So sometimes 2-3 months we can go without any checks when there's a shutdown like this because they get backlogged. And so that causes feelings, again, feelings is a big thing, of frustration, not being able to provide. That's frustrating for him, I know. And we both have a goal, we have had since the beginning of our marriage, of not letting our finances get and make, like, see, how do I say this? Take over who we are, because it's not who we are in the end. And so anyway, we can see we have other risks here. We came together on those and what we decided we needed to do to mitigate those risks, and mostly it came down to this. This was our most helpful thing we did as a project together. We decided what our terms of engagement would be, how we were going to communicate, and we did this because of what we've learned in the past. So like I said about the children interrupting, we had to be in a place that was free of distractions and disruptions. That included things like the dog or the bird or the animals or phones or anything. So number 2, phones away, except for if we're looking things up regarding our meeting. No texting, of course. See, we needed just regular time weekly. Our meetings needed to be short. That's what we decided, because otherwise feelings start growing and we just want to keep it short. We want to do it weekly so that we keep a good camaraderie with each other. We also want to assume the best in each other. We don't want to assume that, like, one of my assumptions was that he was squirreling money away, and his assumption is I just wanted to make his life more stressful. So we decided we were going to assume the best in our partner. We wanted to keep a pleasant tone of voice. That was important for both of us. And overall, we wanted to have patience with each other. So as we had meetings, we noticed that the bill pay wouldn't work, or that one of us had to leave to go grab a bill, and we just decided we were just going to sit patiently. No picking up the phone, just wait patiently. And that was one of the ways of our terms of engagement. It helped us a lot. And I believe that this chart will continue to change. But looking at it in a sort of a business way, or a project management kind of way, has helped us both. So what we did was we kind of made, and this is just the headline. I didn't put all of our bills here. Couldn't do that online. You know how that works. But we had a communication by item. And so we had the item, what the item is. So it could be the house payment or the electricity bills or a credit card. The purpose, who's going to benefit is over here. But what is the purpose of that thing? The audience, who's benefiting? That was interesting to look at. How often we do this? Who's responsible for it? Whose account is it coming out of? And so we had all of our different accounts and the authority and release. So the first thing we did was put together his law firm and the items and the purpose and the audience and who was responsible, what account that's coming out of, and who gave authority for those decisions. And then we went through our household and our debts and then some fun things. And that's kind of how we went through these meetings. We're not done. I think right here we could continue to expand on this. I would like to go back over the past year and see what we paid on each one of these things for the past year. I think that is a necessary thing that has to be done that has not been done yet, so that we can understand our realistic expectations for the future and what we need to do. Oh, here's an example. Okay. I wanted to show you this because here on the side here we have authority and release. My husband loves this Suburban, and I think it's the grossest thing ever. I mean, I've driven Suburbans. I have no problem with it, but it's gotten to the point. The dashboard's broken. The radio's a mess because he's adjusted it, put some crazy radio in there. The steering locks up, which is kind of scary. We live on a hill, and you go down the hill, and so I don't let my kids drive it because the steering will lock up. We're riding on a spare tire. One of the tires is spare. The paint's chipping off the front of it. The seats are disgusting. We call it our Boy Scout car because we don't care what happens inside of it, and we don't clean it. We just kind of let it go. We bought it. When we bought it, it was dead. The engine was completely gone, and so we bought it for $1,000 and put in a brand new engine so it could keep running forever. It really could. It has some leaks though. It does have some leaks that aren't covered by the warranty on the engine, and he wants to keep this car. And no air conditioning in St. George, and the heater doesn't work unless you want it to like make this really awful loud noise. And we fixed it. We keep fixing this car for little things, not the engine, but little things all over it. It's ridiculous, and I don't want to buy new tires for it, and I don't want to do anything more for it. I'm done. And he says, oh no, we're going to keep it forever. We need it forever. And I say, oh no, we're going to get rid of it. It's time to get rid of it. Let's lose the car. So here we have a problem. he said to me one day, we're going to keep this car forever. And I said, no, we're going to get rid of it. And so we had to come to a unified decision, and I finally said, well, just because you said we're going to keep it doesn't mean we're keeping it. He said, well, just because you said we're getting rid of it doesn't mean we're going to get rid of it. So this is an ongoing discussion, but it's not something that we've decided that one person or the other is going to have be in charge of. Kind of reminds me of maybe building a wall for our country during this the government shutdown. Anyway, we will figure this out, but we also might have to wait for when he buys his Jaguar. The results of our meetings have been great. We have been able to get together. We haven't been accusatory or blaming. We've had really good tone. We've both worked together. We've both decided that we needed to be unified in this. We have sat down together with our bills and tried to figure out some goals for each one of them. Like, how are we going to pay this? What are we going to do? What's the goal for this? And it has been a really good project that we've been able to manage. I've never looked at it in the way of taking my bills and my family and doing a project management with it style, but it has been really great. So my next question for you, is there any suggestions you have for us? Where can we go from here? How can we expand this project to make it more complete or full? And do you have any suggestions about how we can improve our meetings? Anything else you can think of, I'm willing to take suggestions. So thanks.